Welcome to the YouTube channel, and if you're new here, make sure you guys press the subscribe button. I am Nasim Issa, your host, and we are going to be diving everything that you need to know before moving to Boise, Idaho in the year of 2025. So new times mean new things, but what does that mean for you if you're deciding to live in Boise or move to Boise in the year of 2025? Well, that just means exactly this. Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down for you, from the housing market to what Boise has to offer, why people are moving here, the pros, the cons, housing, job opportunities, all the stuff that you would love to know that I wish I knew when I had relocated to Idaho back in 2017 when I initially got here on military orders. But now we're going to be providing the information that I wish I had to you guys. So let's dive into it. Now, before we dive into it, I am a local real estate agent in the Boise and surrounding area, and I would absolutely love to help you guys with your real estate needs as much as I love making these videos for you guys. So make sure you guys shoot me a call, a text, or email at any time. Now let's actually dive into the content. So now, when we're talking about Boise, Idaho, a lot of people tend to ask, where the hell is Boise? Well, in general, where the heck is Idaho at all? Most people don't even know where Idaho is. If you were similar to me when I was 18 years old coming to here, I also didn't know where Idaho was. I honestly thought I was getting deployed or sent to a whole nother country, but Idaho just so happens to be the state of potatoes and also has a beautiful city called Boise. Now, Boise is located in the southwest region of the state of Idaho, so it is close to Nevada, it's close to Oregon, it's close to some of those areas that a lot of people like to travel in and out of. But it's a beautiful city, nicknamed the City of Trees, within the Treasure Valley, which is one of the most common areas that people live or move to when relocating to the state of Idaho. So what does Boise have to offer you in the year of 2025? Well, without a doubt, Boise is one of the most beautiful areas that you can move to. It is one of the most upkept areas that you can move to. And it all has to do with the amazing people that live in the Boise area. Now, I know that may be a weird way to start, but Boise, Idaho is actually known for having some of the friendliest people and the best interactions that a lot of people tend to come across when traveling, whether it's just visiting, whether it's just tourists, or whether it's moving to Boise, Idaho. A lot of people tend to just really love the community that it has to offer. Now, not only does it have an amazing community and a bunch of events and all that stuff that we're going to talk about, but the outdoor recreation is the #1 reason why so many people relocate to the state of Idaho, or more specifically the Boise area, full time. They love being able to go experience full season weather. Now, full transparency, I am not one of those people. I am not a fan of the cold. However, it's not too bad where it has pushed me away from living here. It's actually kept me close, and I just tend to deal with the winter season. So if you're someone that is also just like me, that absolutely hates the cold, it's not too bad. It is something that you can get over, and it doesn't usually last too long. Now, we have had crazy winters, we've had good winters where we haven't seen snow, but more than likely you're going to see some white powder on the floor. And if you're someone that's never driven in snow or anything of that, I would definitely do some research about how to drive so you don't end up in a car accident like a lot of Californians that move out here. And I say that because I'm also a Californian that moved out here. However, if it wasn't for my prior experience of driving in the snow before, probably be in a lot more accidents than I have been. So we covered the winter side of things. Now let's talk about the other seasons. So you do have a very beautiful fall. As you can see, all the leaves are falling in the background, and I'm gonna have to rake it up later, but I'm okay with that because it has been a really nice fall. It's extended out. We're looking at November, getting ready to head into December now, and we're probably expecting to see snow happen eventually. But for the most part, fall is usually a really cool, nice, chill area where it's almost that perfect 70-degree weather for a good period of time. However, Idaho can be bipolar when it comes to weather. It can definitely fluctuate between a super cold morning where you got your heat blasting all the way up at max capacity in the car, and then all of a sudden by the end of the day you're trying to cool down the car because it's insanely hot outside. So that can be fall, and even sometimes spring when we're starting to break out of that cold weather into the warmer weather, which is always the best thing in the world. And you do start to see all the green, all the trees, all the leaves in the Boise area. It's just absolutely stunning. So nature wise, it's just awesome. Different seasons allow for different opportunities when it comes to outdoor recreation, to include the summertime, right? So obviously in the winter we have a lot of things you can do, whether it's ice skating or going down Bogus Basin, riding your snowboard, or maybe you're a skier, or maybe you even don't like either of those, and maybe you just like it going down a sled down your biggest hill in the block, right? Whatever that is, the wintertime does give you all the different opportunities, and then the summertime gives you all the opportunities to go hit the water. You can go take the boat out. If you're a fan of quadding or fishing or any of those warmer activities, then you can also do that. I know there is ice fishing out there. I'm not leaving that out. So if you enjoy ice fishing, good for you. I'm personally not going to be joining you, but if you ever want to go fishing when it's warmer, please invite me, because I'd much rather be hot than cold. So coming back to it, as I'm freezing my butt off, there's just so much to do, guys, in all seriousness, as far as different outdoor recreational activities. And I always say in most of my videos that if you could ever think of something you can't do, please let me know, because to this day, I have seen people jump out of planes here. I have seen people go hiking, bike trail riding, literally some of the craziest things I've ever seen. I've even seen people jump off of a bridge to parachute to landing spots in Twin Falls. So when it comes to all the different activities, I literally don't know what there isn't able to do. So I would love to be informed if you can come up with something to include. Not only do you have all those amazing things, you also have a ton of natural hot springs. So if you're someone that just loves to go for a good soak, or maybe just get out of the way from society and maybe even the city, they have so many hot springs located all over the state in general. Actually, I believe Idaho has the most natural hot springs out of any state in the country. So just a fun fact for you guys there. Now, as far as where to go, that's really up to you and what you're looking for. You can go to secluded areas, you can go to, more open areas, but they have so many awesome things that you can do outdoor recreation wise. Which brings us to our next thing. As far as the natural beauty of Idaho, there has to be a cost of living to enjoy all these things, right? Well, the good news is Boise, Idaho in general is one of the lower cost of living areas to live in. So what does that mean as far as cost of living goes? Well, that just means that Idaho is actually a lot more affordable than most people think. For example, as far as utilities go, Idaho is actually the cheapest state in the Northwest region as far as utilities go, because they don't tax you on significantly from power to water to electric to trash and sewer and all those things. So you can actually feel a little more safe. Not only is the utilities cheaper, but for those of you that may be relocating from California or Washington or Denver and those areas that are quite expensive, the median price point in the state of Idaho as a whole is $491,000. So we're still under that $500,000 mark. Now, if you're relocating from Tennessee or somewhere like there where you can buy 100 acres of land for $2, then I know that's probably a little more pricey. And I'm just joking. I know it's not actually $2. It's like a napkin. But in all seriousness, it is a lot more affordable on the West Coast as far as people that are relocating from Oregon or Washington or California, where houses you are literally running for $1 million, and you could get the price of $1 million home in those areas for significantly cheaper here in the Idaho area, which is a huge plus. Now, speaking of housing more specifically, there's a lot of different types of homes, right? There's going to be homes that are commonly being built all the time, right? They have new construction going on everywhere just because Boise and the surrounding areas are booming. A lot of people absolutely love Idaho. A lot of people are relocating to Idaho, especially from California, Oregon, and Washington, and some of these surrounding states where they know that they're trying to get away from maybe the politics. Maybe they just don't agree with some of the rules over there. Maybe they're just getting too expensive to live in those states anymore, and they tend to lean on Idaho because it just has so much going for it and there's so much growth to come. So new construction is super popular. Not only that, you also have a lot of land available. So for those of you that maybe are like, hey, I would love to own 5 acres and a big beautiful property, that's also something you can find out here in Boise and the surrounding areas and the entire state as a whole. So just a lot of opportunities, especially if you're someone that you know what you want. As soon as you get in the area, you can find, whether it's city life, and we're not talking city as in, big LA, like just people always out hustling and grinding and working their lives away. This is more like a small city, very subtle, not too much going on, right? There's a lot of events that they throw throughout the year, but as far as traffic, there's only traffic between certain hours, not throughout the entire day. As far as being able to get to your favorite restaurant and actually being able to have a spot to sit and eat at and not wait for 15 hours, that is also a thing here. So it's just a small city vibe, which a lot of people absolutely love. Or if you're someone that is more like, hey, I kind of want to live away from people, or just kind of out of the way to where I can't put my hand out and touch my neighbor's window, that is also an option. So maybe at that point you're looking at homes in the Star area, or maybe you're looking in Cuna, or maybe you're looking at Mountain Home, maybe you're looking at just different areas outside of Boise where you're kind of away from the city but not too far away to where it almost feels like a hassle to get to Boise. And most people come to Boise to enjoy things like downtown, or going to grab a drink, or enjoying some of the different bars that they have. Or maybe you just want to go watch a Boise State University game. Maybe you are going to school at Boise State, right? There's so many different reasons why people go to Boise. One of the most common ones, of course, being that the airport in this area is located in Boise. So just very common for people to live outside of Boise and travel into Boise. Or if you're someone that does love the city, love that ability to be able to go out and just socialize with everybody, then they live in Boise. or sometimes people's works tend to be around Boise as well. So speaking of work, that takes us to the next topic, which is going to be the economy of Boise as a whole and in the state of Idaho. As I said, it is absolutely booming due to the fact that there is, to this day, so many people relocating to the state of Idaho. We're seeing a lot of bigger companies catch on to the fact that Idaho is growing. I always talk about In-N-Out, I always talk about Topgolf, but outside of those companies, you also have technology companies that are moving out here. You have manufacturing companies that are moving out here. You have these huge malls that are starting to be built that is absolutely stunning. And just to give you guys a reference, you could look up The Village, which is just an outdoor mall, which is absolutely stunning. The Village was actually one of the reasons why I decided to move to where I live now, because of the simple fact that I always found myself in that area. It's just somewhere that I wanted to be around. It just felt like that people in the area were a lot better as far as just my audience and who I like to talk to and who I like to speak to. So we ended up moving close to The Village, but closer to the side where they're building a super village, which is a much bigger, much better version, supposedly. So we're gonna find out this year in 2025 of what they're building and what that's gonna be looking like. I believe beginning end of the year, they're gonna start having those things available for us. So super excited for that, but that just means more opportunity for those of you guys that are relocating out here. Now, I usually get asked, hey, what are the more common jobs or what's the most possible opportunities that, or now I often get asked, what are the most common job opportunities that are available in the area? It's always going to be something in the medical field, technology. So if you're into IT or anything of that nature, that's always going to be available. And then comes down to manufacturing and retail trades. So there's just a lot of different jobs that are available. It's more so just making sure that you do your prior research. Now, and if you need help or just need a sense of direction as far as where to look, we're more than happy to help you guys. Just make sure you guys reach out to us so we can help you with that. So now that we talked about some things about Boise, we also talked about some things about the housing market. We also talked about job opportunities and the economy as a whole. Where should you live in the state of Idaho or in Boise as a general in 2025? Well, let's talk about cities, right? You have Boise, Idaho, which is the capital. It is the small city, but it is the most populated city. So if you're looking for a little more excitement, maybe a lot more stuff to do, a lot of people tend to flow towards Boise because they absolutely love it. Or you're a Bronco fan and you love to go to the Boise State games every weekend. You just have to bleed blue and go Broncos, right? So Boise City is a great option. And in all reality, a lot of people tend to move there anyways due to the fact that it's just where you want to be, especially if you're someone that loves the city lifestyle. Then you have some of the surrounding cities, which are Meridian, Garden City, Eagle, and those areas specifically are right nearby or all bordering the city of Boise. Now, when you're bordering the city of Boise, you still get some of the best things that Boise has to offer, just from a little bit of a distance. Now, for me personally, I live in Meridian. I absolutely love Meridian. It is the second most populated city, and I think it's honestly going to possibly one day outpopulate Boise due to the fact that they're just bringing so much to the city of Meridian. I just feel like Meridian as a whole is probably going to grow and maybe even one day outpace Boise as far as population growth due to the simple fact that the level of value and quality of things that they're bringing to Meridian, I just feel like they're hitting the box and just checking it off on every single thing they're bringing, and it's just super exciting to watch. So I think Meridian is a great second option, if not your first option, to relocate. Or a lot of people really love Eagle, Idaho, which also borders Boise. Now, Eagle, Idaho, that is for people that are a little more bougie, I believe. In my personal opinion, it's definitely a lot more expensive to live in as far as cost of living, cost of housing. We see that Eagle, Idaho tends to be a much more luxurious area to live, and the reason for that is just simply due to the limits of what they have in demand and supply, right? Supply and demand is a real thing in Eagle, and it isn't growing fast enough to keep up with the demand in the city of Eagle. However, I will say Eagle is not as populated as a lot of the other cities. They're actually on the lower end of things, but it's almost like a Hallmark movie, right? You kind of see houses from like Home Alone, and if you kind of drive through there, it still has like that old historic feel to it, but not too old. There's still like a lot of modern things. They have a lot of waterfront properties. They have some of the most beautiful golf courses I have ever seen. So they just have a lot of luxurious feelings as far as what Eagle has to offer. And then of course you have cities that surround that, which are more kind of off the coast, right? Now I will say Nampa, Caldwell, I would still consider those cities that are close enough to Boise to where the population is pretty big and cost of living is significantly cheaper as well. But for those of you that are like, hey, you know, we just really want to be secluded and just away from anything, a lot of people really love Star. A lot of people really love Cuna. A lot of people don't really know about Mountain Home. I just know about Mountain Home due to my military experience and living there for almost 7 years, that Mountain Home is one of those areas that a lot of people tend to, as they would say, sleep on, or are unaware of its existence because it's such a small town. It's so out of the way that when you say the term Mountain Home in Boise, you're like, why would you live in Mountain Home? But it's also going probably to grow eventually. It's just at a much slower pace. There's not as much going on, and they just have the necessities. It's far away to where you'll never feel traffic. You will never feel like it's growing too fast or anything of that nature. And it's probably gonna stay that way for at least another 2 to 5 years before it really starts to take off. Now, the best thing for you as far as deciding where you want to live or what place is best for you, I would say the best thing to do is to reach out to us. And once again, I'll reiterate, I am a licensed real estate agent here in the Boise and surrounding areas. So regardless of where you're trying to live or what your needs are, I would love to hop on a Zoom call so we can come up with a game plan and know exactly what your next step is and what areas may be the most appealing to you. So once again, I'll throw up my phone number, my email. You can call me, text me, or email me. But if you guys haven't already, please make sure you guys press the subscribe button, leave a like, and comment below where you're checking in from or how I can help you as you get ready to transition to the beautiful state of Idaho. So as always, guys, love you guys. And if you didn't press the notification bell at the top of the screen, do so now so you can get notified for more amazing videos just like this. If you guys have any questions, or if I didn't mention something you would love to know or need more information about, you have my number, you have my email, or you can leave it in the comments so I can answer your question ASAP. Love you guys. See you on the next one.